First question. The teenager says more curse words in the presence of peers represents what level of scientific understanding? A, description, B, prediction, C, control, or D, correlation? So B is the correct answer. It's prediction. Now, this question was tricky, and this goes to show you like how certification exam style questions are going to be and how your exams are going to be in this course, which is we're looking for the most right answer. So in this case, correlation actually is right. D is also correct, but it's not the most right answer because I didn't just ask, what is this? I asked, what scenario, like what does this scenario represent best when we're talking about levels of understanding? And correlation is not a level of understanding. So let's look at what are levels of understanding. So there's 3 levels of understanding: description, prediction, and control. So description is a collection of facts about observed events that can be quantified, classified, and examined for possible relations with other known facts. So these can suggest hypotheses, questions, or additional research ideas. So description is like, I know something about this. It can be, let's see, a description level information about space would be like, I know that Earth has 1 moon, and I know that the moon travels around the Earth roughly about every 28 days. So that may give me hypotheses about the moon. It may give me questions or research questions or additional research ideas about the moon. But it's just a list of facts. Like there's nothing else with this. And especially when we talk about behavior, this is going to be important. So in behavioral terms, what description could look like is that it could be this kid curses often. That would be description. It doesn't tell me when they're doing it or when correlations might be. It just is a fact, which is great, but facts can only get me so far. So the next level of understanding is prediction. This is the correct answer for our question, and I'll explain why in a second. Prediction gives the relative probability that when one event occurs, another event will either occur or not occur. So this must be based on repeated observations, and it demonstrates a correlation between events. I have to have a correlation for me to achieve the prediction level of understanding. So even though D is technically right, it was a correlation, I asked for level of understanding, and correlation isn't a level of understanding, but I have to have a correlation to get prediction. See why these questions are tricky? They're tricky on purpose because it has to show, do I really know this information? Not just know it, but know the difference between a right answer and a more right answer. And then causal relationships can't be determined with this. So I can't say this is definitely causing that. I can just say these 2 things occur at the same time. When one thing is present, the other thing's going to occur more often. Those would all be prediction level. So looking back at our question, the teenager says more curse words in the presence of peers tells us that 2 things are happening at once, right? There's the presence of peers, and we know that that means more curse words. Now, is the presence of peers causing the curse words? Maybe, but we don't know. All we have is a correlation between these, which means we've achieved the prediction level of understanding. Make sense? So the last level of understanding, just for the sake of saying it, is control. This is the highest level of understanding. This is when we can actually derive a functional relation. So we can control one variable. So we can see a specific change in one event. And in behavior, our dependent variable is almost always going to be human behavior. So we can change human behavior, and this can be reliably produced by manipulating some other thing. And that's our independent variable. And the change in that dependent variable is unlikely to have been caused by anything else. Potentially confounding variables. Make sense? So again, our teenager, we can't say experimental control here. We have not had a well-controlled experiment that's unlikely to be confounding factors that's affecting the increase in curse words. All we have is a correlation, which means it's prediction.